Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum, pasito tum.
North Korea. It is a land where the people are oppressed and breeded to believe that their leader Kim Jong-un is literally a god. Since the 14th century to now, they've been living into isolation from the world, other cultures, and other beliefs, either to free themselves from wars or remove ideological infiltrations. It is not always healthy for the human mind to stay in the same place. Humans want to explore new things, open ourselves to new worlds and ideals that can grow our knowledge and our imagination. But unfortunately to the North Koreans, any contact with the world is forbidden, even their privacy is invaded. Any journalist media is forbidden, Wi-Fi is not accessible, and foreign movies are forbidden. Any media outside of their propaganda praising their dear leader is considered as an act of rebellion, punishable for 10 years of prison or death. Now compare this to a land where there's more privileges to having exposed media, share different ideals, and experience what's in the world. If Charlie's Angels is just a B movie for some, for Chung Jiang-ju from North Korea is the greatest thing in the world. If Titanic is for some a cheesy fictional romance, in the case of Jeonmi Park from North Korea, Titanic meant the whole world to her. Movies have always served as an escapism from reality. For people with oppressed backgrounds, it is much more effective, as it was for Park when she stated, "Just for a couple of hours, you forget about how life is so hard, almost dreaming about a different planet." Speaking of a different planet,
out there's a world outside of Yonkers.
we open up with a dystopian world oppressed by contamination. The world is abandoned, the humans live in outer space, and despite their attempt to survive, technology and consumerism have taken over, making humans as fat, as lazy, and as useless. In this abandoned world, there's only one being that lives in there, a robot named Wally. But just like the North Koreans who are limited to reach other dreams outside of worshipping their leader, Wally is another oppressed being who was limited by his own creators. His sole purpose in life is to be a garbage tractor, but through the course of time, he develops emotions and desires outside of his routine job. Based on his fascination for Hello Dolly, he develops a sense of wanting to have a romantic partner. And having those senses denied makes Wally a tragic figure. He lives with no direction, no hope, he has no one to share his creativity with, no one to share his imagination with, and no one to share that moment of love. His biggest punishment for existing is to remain alone. So, what is Hello Dolly's place in Wally? If you look at both films in its entirety, they don't have much in common. One is a musical directed by Singing in the Rain star Gene Kelly during the last days of the musical genre. The other one is a post-apocalyptic animation. There's really not much resemblance between Dolly and Wally other than their names rhyming. In fact, she doesn't even come out in any of the used clips. But you can look at them as an ironic comparison. Dolly is a well-respected widow who has all the answers to every problem, is on top of every situation, and it's played by Barbra Streisand. In one hand, you have a character that is the center of all attention and reaps its benefits, while the other is a humble robot that builds a giant city out of garbage cubes. In a way, this will make Wally the master of this world, but have no one to rule over. So it's comparably ironic that they're both achievers, but one does reap the reward of the praise of others without coming out as egotistic, while the other receives no reward for his masterwork. If you saw my video of Logan and Shane, I've already discussed the purpose of referencing another movie. It either promotes homage or nostalgia, a character comparison, or a lesson he or she will eventually learn. Hello Dolly doesn't serve as a commentary on anything that Wally is, about overconsumerism, survival of humanity, or technology taking over. However, it does serve as something the main character wants, because at its core, Wally is a story about love, just as Hello Dolly is a story about love. The story is very simple, very theatrical as how they handle their dialogue, and sometimes very overstaged. But it is its simplicity that complements the world of WALL-E. The musical scenes that are repeated again and again are the put on your Sunday clothes, and it only takes a moment. Both of the songs are sang by the same character, Cornelius, played by Michael Crawford, who maybe you might know him from Phantom of the Opera. Looking at Cornelius singing both songs in context actually gives a common resemblance to WALL-E. Cornelius is a poor, hard worker, just like WALL-E. He wants to fall in love, just like WALL-E. And he does so with the richest woman he could find. Just like WALL-E falls in love with an aggressive, advanced female robot named Eve. The Put On Your Sunday Clothes song is a sum up of the whole movie. It's about two young men and Dolly leaving their homes to go out to the city and fall in love. Just like WALL-E leaves his home planet to enchant Eve to fall in love with him. Now if you ask me, this isn't the smartest musical plot I've ever seen. It's pretty much about falling in love in less than a second, as it is described in the song for It Only Takes a Moment. But for those who know this film, it doesn't matter. What matters is it left an impact to someone isolated from society, as it did to WALL-E. Here you have a robot that I can assume started with no emotions and just obeys strict orders without any social interaction. Soon after discovering a copy of Hello Dolly, it is the only source that teaches him to have emotions and human-like desires. He passes those emotions to Eve as she changes from a violent robot to more caring and emotional. She was programmed to find any sort of life on Earth. Once she does that, she becomes unmovable, unusable, with no free will to choose or to think. In a way, she's another oppressed robot, because just as WALL-E realized, she also realizes that she wants something more than what she was built for. But if WALL-E and Eve are the robots that learn the importance of human emotions and free will, Otto is the robot who doesn't learn any of those emotions. He was created to blindly follow orders of not letting humans return back home without question, even if it means taking away their own free will. Just as anyone who blindly follows propagandas, his biggest punishment is he can't learn the essence to think for itself. And because he will never understand it, he will always live as an oppressed robot. The purpose of Hello Dolly is not to introduce us to great movies. It is to introduce how we all look at movies differently. It can speak to us greatly or none at all. As it was the case of Park, who was forced to live disconnected and isolated from the world. The only thing that made her life better is connecting through the world by a simple movie. If for some Hello Dolly wasn't a great film, which it wasn't, in the case of WALL-E, it is the greatest thing that happened to him, because it opened new worlds, it taught him how to express those emotions, how he would share those emotions back to other robots, and even remind humans those same emotions they forgot. So, what is Hello Dolly's place in WALL-E? Is a lesson to the unprivileged that even in their oppression, they can still learn to have that moment. Just that one moment.
I'm sure some of you have tried to raise the people's eyebrow, but have you ever tried to raise the WALL-E's eyebrow? Nailed it! So for this 10th anniversary of WALL-E, did you like the movie? Did you not like it? Leave your comments on the section down below to see what you thought about it. And if you like this video, leave a like and subscribe for more content. Well guys, tune in next time, cause I'll be comparing another film related to 10th anniversary as I compare Faust and The Dark Knight. So for now, that's it for today. Ciao!
Pasito tum tum, pasito tum tum.